Hello and welcome to Integrative Wisdom's Today's Office View. This is Verna, and I decided today to give you a view of my office, which is the grounds of our home and the center of creative transformation. So we're starting here in the Garden of Quiet and Peace. And so what I wanted to do is kind of help us think about how dreams and visions become reality and what it takes to make those dreams and visions come true. So this is the house. We're working up there on the porch right now on a little bar. So I'll take us by there real fast. But this is the last place that we just worked on. This little garden, wherever there was not a plant and you see little brown mulch, was all grass. And so that was our work to clear that out. Here you could stop and smell the rose, which is what we do often when we're doing our work out here. These things are not easy. Require a lot of determination and willpower to keep going. So what you see here inside this ground cover are the sweet peas. The vines. These are the only ones that are still blooming right up here, I think. But we let them sit so that all of the seeds can pop. And then next year they come back without us having to plant them again. So here's one of the paths in the Garden of Quiet and Peace. We are on a corner. And they are going to be creating new homes up there. Used to be Avocado Grove when we moved in, and it was lovely. Oh, this is a project right here. Cutting the hedge down. Do you like to do things like that? When you are creating your vision of what it is that is your work in the world. Still got to get those grasses out. And yes, these rocks I have placed many, many times outside the debris that builds up around them. Here's our little home for the birds. It's time to fill the bird seed feeders again. A little fountain, little spot. And back over there is another workspace. So here's our project right now. And this is what I'm going to be working on today. We redid the top rail, and we're going to be adding a piece of wood across the top so that these bar stools will be able to go there. I'm sanding this, and then I'm going to be repainting it so that it will look fresh like this. So yes, this is one of the projects here at the center. So coming back down the steps. These were done 2 years ago. Quite the project. We did these and we redid the pool area. So again, oh, and here's one little cute little step to take to get to the center. And yes, we had a wonderful, bountiful winter. So we have lots and lots of weeds. I'm going to take you in here real fast and show you. So this is our beautiful gate. I don't know if I got to show you the beautiful arch that takes us into the center's, the pool area. And again, nothing has been swept. This is the work that I must do in my office view to keep it going. So there's one of the gates. We do have the ramps here and over here, right there, and then here's the pool. Water comes out from fountains over there, or waterfalls. And so I love this tree. The birds love the tree, but the tree is messy. So that's part of like life, right? It's like you have to just take care of things. And it's work, but it's worth it, right? There's the playground. So when the kids come, they have something to do as well, besides the pool. There's our little fairy in the garden. She's very happy there. Then we come down here, back out. Oh, and there's a jacaranda tree. It's doing quite well right now, as you can see. So we're working on this garden path. Again, more sweet peas. And so what is the path that you take for your work? And see, even little cute little niches to sit and relax require care and attention. So here we are. We're coming back to the back part of the property. Go through there. You can see the center. I'm going to come down this path right here. Oh, but I'm going to come over here first. So this was one of our latest additions. We have a little Kuan Yin, goddess of mercy and compassion. She has her own place. And back over there is where we're going to go, where I usually do our videos. Whoops, sorry. Okay, now here is a vision that we are still working on. Of course, you can see everything is a work in progress. Got our little desk and a little easel back there. But right here, which right now, as you can see, has loved the winter as well. I've already cleaned all the weeds out of there once in the spring. This is our mini labyrinth, and the stones are actually from Sedona, and there's a really cool story about that. I had seen a picture of someone who had created a big 13 circuit labyrinth out of all red rock, and I said, wouldn't it be wonderful to find someone who had extra red rock? We were just on vacation, and we got stopped for a traffic reason, and there was a man in a truck next to us that said construction or something like that. And it turned out to be a man who was transitioning from construction into photography. And he let us come to his property and take extra red rock, because I asked him, because he was in construction, do you know anyone? And so it was like magic that we were able to get the rocks. But of course we had a little Subaru, and we got a few rocks because the rocks are heavy. And we ended up going back like 5 months later and coming back to his property, and we received more rock. This is still a work in progress, as you can tell, but for now, it's a great, wonderful, sacred place for us. This little mini labyrinth. Here's another project that's in project in progress. So this is a back corner. We had a big tree fall. It knocked down the fence right there, where you can see the little V, the notch in the fence. And this corner had nothing. And so I started bringing plants that we just cut off from the other plants that are in the yard. There are only 1, 2, 3 plants that we've actually purchased from the ones here. We started with mulch, and we're still working on this project. So again, everything is a work in progress, and I'm just showing you the behind the scenes view of the work that it takes, the dedication that it takes. Here is my wisteria, though. It's still blooming, and look at how long they're not typically that long, the flowers, but I guess the second half of the season they decide to. This is my poor little garden this year. We only have 2 plants, and they're not doing well. They're starting because we started very late because we were doing all the other work that it takes. Now here's the center, and again, you can see I didn't roll up the hoses. I didn't put the ladder away. I didn't sweep everything off. But this is why we purchased this property. This was an old, ragged, run-down tack room, they called it. It's not really a barn, as you can tell, but there were 2 horse stables or rooms over there, and this room was where the equipment for the horses was kept. And so we did. We put in new windows, we put in new doors, and we had to do the electricity. And our neighbors are outside, they're adorable. But this is the back, and this is where we still have work that we want to get done. But we have a peace pole. We have the makings of a patio pad. It's the back door to the center. This is called the boneyard. This is where the leftover supplies went. But again, we have to continually, here's a cute little bird. We have to continually weed. Can't get it all done. This is the view from the back. The owls love the palm trees and the pine. So here's the other side where the pool was over there. Pine, palm. And you've seen the inside, you may not have seen the outside. So here it is. Center of creative transformation in all of its working glory. So what you see now with the pavers, the steps, this is what it looked like before. You see that? The brown and the yellow, the grass instead of the pavers. And here was the date. We blessed the bones on the inside before we added all of the inside. Okay, well, let me go ahead and open the door since we've done this whole thing. And here's the space. And you can see again, even in here, it's always a pick-me-up. It's always a move around, decide where things are going to go for the day. So, yeah, this is the center. This is where we come when we gather. And so I'm going to come on back, take you back to the beginning. And again, this tour today, today's office view, was to let you know, again, you know, things don't just magically happen in our lives, although there is kind of sort of that feel of magic as to how we got this place. But it took work, it took determination, it took persistence, and it still does today. And some days we wake up and we go, oh my gosh, we're so tired, it's so much work. And then we take a look around and we're just filled with wonder that we have been called to be stewards of the property. I guess the other thing I would say for today is that, you know, and this was from our old pool. It hasn't been 2 years and we still haven't made it to the garbage yet. But half of it is now. So you could see that I'm showing you the behind the scenes, what things really look like before the work is done. And you might identify in your own life with the work that you're working on and that you're trying to do. Don't give up. Keep going. Let's all keep going to make the world more beautiful. And yes, these weeds that we have now, because we finally made the decision a couple years back to no longer use weed killer, the Roundup, which has driven my husband crazy because he's not too fond of pulling weeds. And he was told many years ago in his horticulture classes that Roundup was safe. And now, you know, 30 years later, we find out, well, it's really not. So, by hand, we tackle the weeds. So whatever, oh, and this, by the way, this weed in the middle of our driveway, that's actually milkweed, and that's for the monarchs. And we have been blessed because we're allowing the weeds to continue to grow, the milkweed. So we wanted the weeds so that we could have the butterflies. So there you go. You've been introduced to my office view that I have now. This is where I do the work. This is where I bring people for retreats. And we're waiting for it to be safe so we can open it back up again. I wish we could do the summer solstice here. What an amazing solstice it's going to be. But we're not quite ready to stop the sheltering in place, you might say. So anyway, maybe one day you will come to the Center of Creative Transformation, sit in the garden of quiet and peace, and do the work that your soul calls you to do. All right, everybody, have a great week.